Hi, I'm Chris and this is Liz, and if you don't know us, we're part of the leadership team at Rugeley Community Church, and the leadership team felt that it'd be really good to try and make a video each week that just shares a little bit about what's on our hearts, what we're passionate about, and maybe then provokes a bit of discussion or interest. And we thought we'd start with something you might not have heard of, but we think is a brilliant illustration of how God works things together for good because he loves us so much.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Japanese art of Kintsugi, which is otherwise known as golden joinery or the art of precious scars, which is repairing broken pottery with lacquer that's mixed with gold dust, so that the repairs aren't hidden, but they're incorporated and they actually make the finished product much more beautiful. So brokenness and repair are part of the history of the object rather than something to disguise or hide.
And we feel this is a good illustration of what God's saying in Romans 8:28, saying all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Or back in the Old Testament, where Joseph says in Genesis 50, his brothers intended it for harm, or Satan intended it for harm, but God turns it for good. Now, you might have had those verses quoted at you a lot, but we thought this is a really good way of actually showing that the difficulties that you go through in life and the scars that they can create, they can all be used by God to bring us closer to him, to be more like Jesus. Jesus himself still bore those scars of the cross, even in his resurrected body, because he actually said to Thomas, look at my hands, look at my feet, look at my side. And his scars are the most beautiful because they represent the incredible love that he would die for us and the fact that then he rose again and we have that new life in Christ. So in the cracks and the scars, we basically see evidence of God's love, of his healing, of his power, his restoration, and that glorifies him as well. And we become more and more beautiful as those scars actually are turned to good by God. So we have got a little Kintsugi kit, which Liz bought me for my birthday a few months back. So it comes in a little box like this. Liz, do you want to go through all the constituent parts and then we're going to actually give it a go?
We've got a little bowl for smashing.
And another bowl in case we mess it up.
And some glue and some golden dust. Yeah, so see how we get on.
Yep. And if it doesn't go quite according to plan, the concept is still the same. God still loves you and turns brokenness to beauty.
Yeah, just because we're not very good Kintsugiists. Is that right?
We're amateur Kintsugiists. But maybe you could be too if you're inspired. Okay. So this is actually take 3 because our first attempt with a hammer didn't break the bowl and our second attempt with bowl 1 completely pulverised it. So third time lucky. That's not a biblical concept.
But 3 is meant to be a perfect number,
yes.
Isn't it? Okay, so we've got our protective surface here because the hammer didn't work. So we're going to wrap this bowl up and I'm going to whack it on here, okay? No, that hasn't broken.
And again. Ooh, that sounds promising in a broken kind of way.
Ooh, that looks better. Okay, so now we've got to glue it together.
So here we are partway through, and we've skipped to partway through, otherwise this would be a very long video. But Liz is painstakingly putting all these pieces together, and hopefully, as you can see, it's starting to look a bit like the picture. Only a few pieces left, so we will come back again when we've finished. And here is the finished bowl. Liz has done an amazing job there. It took probably about half an hour just gradually gluing the pieces back. And I think it could potentially be worth more than it was to start with. But we hope that this little video has blessed you and encouraged you in some way, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.